most believe. Yeah, a resurrection.
Yeah.
Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets murdered in public? Who gets back up under his own power? Buddha didn't.
He made billions with the Passion of the Christ, and Hollywood hated him for it. Now, Mel Gibson is calling out the system, and his bold words are shaking up the elite like never before. Is this the moment he finally breaks their silence?
Why are the big realms of good and evil, and they exist? They're as real as we are. Why are these realms slugging it out for the souls, the hearts and souls of mankind?
Mel Gibson isn't just a Hollywood actor, he's a lightning rod. From his Oscar-winning performance in Braveheart to directing the billion-dollar phenomenon The Passion of the Christ, Gibson has always been bold. But behind the camera, his personal convictions have clashed with the very system he helped build. While many stars shy away from religious or political controversy, Gibson leans into it, and now he's speaking louder than ever.
When I came over here, I was in my mid-20s.
Right.
The first time I really came over here. You know, I had a whole bunch of weird paranoid suspicions about what the hell was going on because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
Right.
And nobody was really bothering to explain it to me.
They don't.
And and I formed a bunch of...
In an industry often criticized for its secularism, Gibson's unapologetic defense of faith has sparked backlash, censorship, and even exile. But he's not backing down. In this video, we dive into how Mel Gibson is confronting what he sees as Hollywood's growing hostility toward Christianity, and why he's finally stopped holding back.
There was Sigourney Weaver and a really nice actor called Michael Murphy. Los Angeles, he says, how should I put this? He says, in New York, you might get mugged, or, they'll say F you, or, whatever.
In 2004, Mel Gibson released The Passion of the Christ, a film that would become both a box office phenomenon and a lightning rod for controversy. Financed with $25 million of his own money, Gibson's depiction of Jesus' final hours was unflinchingly graphic and deeply personal.
And then you go away and you think, no, I was wrong. I mean, that's insane thinking. I'm paranoid. I imagined that stuff. That couldn't be the reason for why so-and-so was acting like. Could it? And then you find out later on the track that you were exactly on track with a lot of this stuff. Not specifically on track, but that you could, that some of your worst nightmares were real at the time, and you think.
The film grossed over $612 million worldwide, making it one of the most successful independent films ever, and the highest grossing R-rated movie in U.S. history at the time. However, the film faced significant backlash. Critics accused it of anti-Semitism.
You're gonna get people going, because,
Of course.
it's big subject matter, and it's like, and my contention is, when I was making it, it was like, you're making this film, and the idea was that we're all responsible for this, that his sacrifice was for all mankind, and that for all our ills and all.
Pointing to its portrayal of Jewish leaders as central to Jesus' crucifixion. Despite these criticisms, many viewers found the film to be a profound spiritual experience. Gibson's commitment to authenticity, filming in Aramaic, Hebrew, and Latin, was both lauded and questioned.
All the things in our fallen nature. It was a redemption. So, and I believe that, I actually am, I was born into a Catholic family. I'm very Christian in my beliefs, So I do actually believe this stuff to the full. So depicting that was an honor, but it was also, you got the daylights beat out of you for it.
The film's impact on Hollywood was undeniable. It demonstrated the commercial viability of faith-based films and challenged the industry's assumptions about religious content, yet it also marked the beginning of Gibson's complex relationship with Hollywood, as he faced both acclaim and ostracization in the years that followed.
People do feel free to beat up on it. Well, I regard the Gospels as history. It's a verifiable history. Some people say, oh, it's a fairy tale. He never existed, but he did. And there are other accounts, verifiable historical accounts outside the biblical ones, that also bear this up, that yes, he did exist.
Following the release of The Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson faced significant backlash from Hollywood. Major studios were hesitant to distribute the film, citing concerns over its content and potential controversy. Gibson recounted the challenges in securing a distributor, noting that the film's religious themes made it a tough sell in an industry that often shies away from overtly faith-based projects. The film's lead actor, Caviezel,
and I didn't realize I was barefoot. I was so full of rage. I came in and sat down, and he loved me. And he didn't say a lot, but he just said, if you ever struggle, you ever have pain, whatever, just come over. And I felt like that man was one of the faces that I saw while I was playing Jesus, that he represented Jesus to me.
Also experienced repercussions. He claimed that taking on the role of Jesus led to his marginalization in Hollywood, stating that he had been rejected by his own industry since the film's release. Gibson's personal controversies further strained his relationship with Hollywood.
Why are these realms slugging it out for the souls, the hearts and souls of mankind? Why are we the meat in that sandwich? Little old us, flawed us, imperfect us. Why?
His 2006 DUI arrest and subsequent anti-Semitic remarks led to widespread condemnation and professional fallout. Despite public apologies, many in the industry distanced themselves from him, and he was effectively blacklisted for several years. This period of ostracization highlighted the complex dynamics between personal beliefs, public behavior, and professional consequences in Hollywood. Gibson's experience serves as a case study in how the industry responds to controversy, especially when it intersects with deeply held convictions.
Seemed like there was resistance to that movie,
Oh yeah, no, there was.
which I thought was very strange. There was like Hollywood resistance to that movie. Like people didn't like that you were making it. It seemed like.
Yeah, there was a lot of opposition to it, and I don't know. I think if you ever hit on that subject matter.
In a candid appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience podcast in January 2025, Mel Gibson openly criticized Hollywood's secular leanings. He expressed frustration over the industry's resistance to faith-based narratives, stating that Christianity is often the only religion that can be openly disparaged in Hollywood.
Why is that about us? And I'm trying to answer that question. I don't know if I can. I've attempted, and maybe with God's help and with image and with sound and music, we can deliver on some answers to some of those massive questions.
Gibson emphasized his belief in the Gospels as verifiable history and questioned the theory of evolution, suggesting a preference for creationist views. He remarked, "Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets murdered in public? Buddha didn't do that." Beyond religious discussions,
Who gets back up 3 days later after he gets murdered in public? Who gets back up under his own power? Buddha didn't do that,
Right.
So
You believe that was a real event?
yeah, I do.
Gibson addressed broader societal issues. He voiced concerns about the increasing number of people leaving California.
God gives, God takes. We come in with nothing. That's the same way we go out, And here's the deal. You'll always be okay if you seek first the kingdom of God. You'll always be okay. You'll get what you need. Look at the flowers of the field. Look at the birds of the air. They get fed. They get clothed. I mean, it's Matthew, I think.
Attributing it to high taxes, crime, and stringent regulation. Appointed as one of President Trump's special ambassadors to Hollywood, Gibson expressed a desire to revitalize the industry and retain talent within the state. These unfiltered opinions have reignited debates about Gibson's place in Hollywood.
Yes, I think as a child, one accepts things on faith because, you're raised by people who are nice to you and they believe it. So as a child, you learn these things and you accept them on faith. And I still have that faith, but as I got older, I came to it through intellect and through reading and putting things together in accounts, and then occurrences like in my own life.
While some admire his candor and commitment to his beliefs, others view his statements as further evidence of his controversial standing in the entertainment industry. Mel Gibson's recent outspoken interviews and his appointment as one of President Trump's special ambassadors to Hollywood have reignited debates about his role in the entertainment industry.
But that was one of my dad's favorite passages. He said, stop worrying about stuff, about money, about stuff. So, that's, I think he put that in my head when I was very young, and it stayed, and I believe it.
Supporters applaud his unwavering commitment to his beliefs and his efforts to address issues like the exodus of talent from California due to high taxes and regulations. Gibson has expressed a desire to revitalize Hollywood.
I mean, I don't think it's any secret. I am flawed in the fact that I am by nature born an alcoholic, right? I did drugs, I did alcohol. So, and there was nothing that could stop me from doing that. Nothing. So I was really kind of you're on a downhill run.
And make it more competitive globally. However, critics remain skeptical, pointing to his controversial past, including allegations of anti-Semitism and other public scandals.
The whole place can't be like, Weird Town, where the stranger wanders in and all the people are in the bar and they all shut up when he looks at them and they tell you don't go to the house on the hill. And it's like that.
Some industry insiders question whether his recent initiatives are genuine efforts to improve the industry or attempts to rehabilitate his image. Despite the divided opinions, Gibson's influence in Hollywood persists. His upcoming projects, such as the sequel to The Passion of the Christ, continue to generate buzz, indicating that regardless of controversy, he remains a significant figure in the film industry.